Good morning. It's June the 2nd, 2017, and we have our probably either our number one or our number two news day of the month. The FOMC announcement, I believe it's on June the 15th, could put this into second class status, but we'll see. We'll start with our disclaimer. Hypothetical or simulated performance results have certain limitations. Unlike an actual performance record, simulated results do not represent actual trading. Also, since the trades have not been executed, the results may have under overcompensated for the impact of any of certain market factors, such as lack of liquidity. Simulated trading programs in general are also subject to the fact that they're designed with the benefit of hindsight. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profit or losses similar to those shown. Okay, today we have unemployment, and players are guessing that we're going to have a bigger non-farm payroll number than 185K. They were looking for 170 in the ADP number, and it came in at 253, 258. A big beat. It doesn't necessarily mean that our today's non-farm payroll number will come in, but if you were a betting man, you'd guess that it would be higher, and I think the market is doing that. Unemployment at 4.4. The focus is on U6, which is at 8.6%, and if that comes down, that will signal that more people are going back to work, which would be positive. Funny, we can talk about U6 now because we have a Republican president. We couldn't talk about U6 under the Obama administration because it was a bad number, 10, 11% most of the time. So those are the two big numbers. We have average work week 34.4. That'll be cross-checked. Manufacturing jobs plus 8,000. Private non-farm payroll at 173K. Then international trade minus 46.1B. And Baker Hughes rig count, we don't know what it will be this time, but we had 1,001 last week. And 908, and both these numbers could come in higher than forecast. So the news focus will be right here. This is where the whipsaw is. If these two numbers aren't in line with each other. And so looking at the market right now, we are at resistance, and it's a newsday trade. If you know what the news is, you have to put that trade on before the news is announced because the market moves instantaneously to a level where the opposite side of the market is willing to trade. So if we didn't have today's news, we would be trying to sell 11s to 15s. Put us up in this area right up in here. And 19 to 23 for sell 2. Our buy would be 1 to 5, and 25 to 29. These recommended buys and sells are without news. Be careful. So how do we trade the news? Let's say the market trades up. You'll have a bar that looks like this, and sometimes you have to move in the first 30 seconds. You have the mode mean, so limit buy against whichever one is first is your first entry. You'll have the value area low. A limit buy against that would be your second entry. Then your third entry would be where the news hits. Sometimes you have to make up your mind in 30 seconds to 3 minutes on where you're going to put on that trade. If you do not exceed this high, and you don't have a lot of time to make up your mind right there. You get up there, if it's rejected, you just take yourself out. Then you get out of the trade. If it takes out that high, you stick with it. It's a pretty simple strategy for handling the uncertainty of news. Now, if that is too difficult for you, above your skills set, the market moves. First correction will come back to where figure out where support is, then it'll come back up, and if it doesn't take out that high, it's going to move into development or stage 3. And on this particular contract, you can trade development plus or minus 230 seconds. A scoop sell order or buy order would be 20 ticks away from where the market was when the news hit. It's a pretty safe fade. Sometimes it moves 12, sometimes it moves 24. Rarely does it move a point. Looking at the 30-year, number 1, 24 to 28, sell 31 to 03, sell 7 to 11. Picking up the spot over here, okay, on a scoop order basis, plus or minus 1 point from where the market was when the news hit. It can move 1.5 points. Usually it'll give you 20 ticks. 20 ticks to 1.5 points where your exposure is when you take that trade. Obviously, can't really trade with stops, can you? You just have to put it on there and see what you have. You can jump in intra-bar. Sometimes we have to. Less so on treasuries than on the E-mini. Okay, support for the number 1 is 16 to 20. So our first buy is 9 to 13. Then 29 to 01 for buy 2. Picking up this level over here. Okay, the numbers if as forecast should be negative for gold and treasuries. And we did see some selling overnight in gold. So right here we are at 1260, 1262. So buy 1 is 60.62. Seen that number before this week, haven't we? Then 55, 57. On the sell side, 68 to 70. We've also seen that number this week, and then 73 to 75 for sell 2. Again, Newsday trade, same strategy works on this. Gold plus or minus $10 on a scoop order. Can move $20 depending on the news, but rarely. You take this trade, you cannot do it. I mean, you don't play with stops. You just have to say, well, I'll be good enough and smart enough to get out when the market corrects. And if you're a beginner, that's another reason not to trade until it settles down and moves into development. Okay, the Trump's withdrawal from the Paris Climate Treaty is actually a good thing. It's actually a good thing for the world. And you saw that with other currencies, other markets, equity markets around the world. Currencies were lower, the dollar was stronger, equities were higher around the globe. And the reason for that is that we are the world's largest economy, and getting out of that treaty is growthful for the U.S. economy, and that will spill over into the world's economy. Buy stocks, and that's what happened. And so buy the dollar, buy stocks, sell the euro, sell the yen, etc. for those countries that are stuck in that treaty. That treaty was so bad that Obama could not get it through the Senate. So with a flick of the wrist, he changed it. It was a climate accord, not a treaty. What's in a word? And again, that was outside of the Constitution and outside of his authority, but he did it anyway, and as he was prone to do when he couldn't get his way through the regular channels. So anyway, the rest of the world's markets are signifying that it's the right move if you like economic growth. Right now, looking at the euro, 12.25, 12.35, sell 1, 12.50 to 60, sell 2. On the buy side, 112 even, buy 1, buy 2, 11.75. Scoop orders are 50 ticks away, plus or minus on the euro. It can move that much. These numbers for our buy and sell levels are where they would normally be without this type of news. Crude oil got slammed last night, started yesterday into the close. We saw it coming. We are below 47. We had projected a 47 minus and a 52 plus market. So we hit 47, 46.75, 47 by 1, 46 and a quarter, 46.50 by 2. This market will be the least affected by this morning's numbers. Sell 1, 47.75 to 48. Sell 2, 48 and a quarter, 48.50. Okay, sometime today we'll probably see some supportive rhetoric out of OPEC. The speculators have grown to expect this, and OPEC usually obliges. The E-mini. It's really interesting when you see the corporate players that came out against withdrawing from the Paris Treaty, and it was BlackRock and Goldman Sachs were the two biggest objectors to the withdrawal in the financial world. There were a lot of other ones, Exxon, which Rex Tillerson, the Secretary of State, Chevron, big oil companies were there too, out of self-defense. But the why would Goldman and why would BlackRock do that? Because you can sell and buy and trade and swap energy credits, and that's money to these big trading firms and trading houses, and it's a long-term opportunity, and that's why they lined up for it. It was a way for another area for them to make money, and they're looking after their own self-interest, which you would expect. Okay, sell failure to take out 37 to 40, and the next sell will be 45, 46. This is without news, plus or minus 10 points on the E-mini, works pretty well for scoop orders. Okay, the breakout came from 30 from last night, so 30 to 32 without news is where we'd be trying to buy it, and we would be trying to buy it, and 25 to 27 for buy 2. 185 for non-farm payroll numbers. Most people think it's going to come in higher than that. 4.4 for unemployment. They'll be looking at U6. Like I said, we can look at that now, which is at 8.6. They expect that to come down. International trade minus 46B. Actually 46.1. I always love the precision that they make that forecast with. And then Baker Hughes rig count was 1,001 and 908. Those could come in higher than last week's numbers. So the focus is right there. Non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate. It's going to take a bit to get everything up and posted. I'm going to get busy on that. I will be back with you as soon as possible. A pause day to day. If we fail to take out 37 to 40 would be anticipated. in the E-mini. And we'll see if we get it. We get a non-farm payroll number, say north of 200,000, we probably get a little bit more rally. But again, normally after what happened yesterday and overnight, you'd expect a pause day. Back with you as soon as possible.